Boston Celtics win their 64th game of the season. That's one of the best teams in team history. I'll look at the playoff picture and a tribute to Mike Gorman right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Thanks to Blockbuster Brad, it's holiday season, drop Drew in the mix. And 3 from KG, no we not on the Knicks. Flushing competition like Al on Giannis. Juice and Big Deuce, still B-Town's finest. Banner 18 going up in the Raptors. Watch the C's game in Locked On after. Corrales on the breakdown, clutch like a tip from D. White on the breakdown. John on the mic, documenting domination. Matter pen a back bay, it's all C's nation. Rainer J's how we started, raising banners, how we finish. Locked On Celtics pod, home of the winners. Peace.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day, and I've got you covered every single day, Monday through Friday, with a free, fresh podcast that drops directly to your device. So subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Watch a show on YouTube. Get into the comment section. Let me know what you think. And if you're in that comment section, if you're on that YouTube page, you'll see me here at the TD Garden in one of the side rooms. I got the TV right behind me over my shoulder, over my right shoulder, with the Mike Gorman Day graphic. Today was a great celebration of a 43-year career of an amazing broadcaster, an even better person, and what a day it was. So I will get into the Mike Gorman stuff and my tribute to Mike Gorman a little later on, which also includes my Sports Channel t-shirt that you're watching here on YouTube. It's one of the original iterations before it was NBC Sports Boston and whatever other things it was. It was Sports Channel at one point. A lot of the people here got a kick out of that. People who've been here for a while, they're like, oh, no. So this is a shirt specifically for Mike Gorman. I'll get into the playoff picture in just a minute. I'll get to these 64 wins. By the way, my name's John Corrales. If you're new to the show, I used to play a long time ago. Now I'm covering the Celtics as a beat writer for Boston Sports Journal. Today's show is brought to you by Monopoly Go. I admit it, I have a competitive side, and I'm a big fan of Monopoly Go, the mobile hit twist on a classic Monopoly game. So join your friends and download Monopoly Go free on the App Store or Google Play. So let's get to the first things first. The Boston Celtics win. I don't think we need to break down that game other than it's their 64th win of the season. Payton Pritchard dropped 38 points. He almost had a triple-double. Really funny that the last game of last season, Payton Pritchard had his first career triple-double. This game, he was one rebound away. And my favorite part of the game might have been the fans at the end. When the Celtics had the ball, they were waiting for somebody to shoot. They wanted somebody to shoot so Pritchard could go grab the rebound. He had opportunities to grab this rebound, and Mazzulla was like telling the Knicks, not the Knicks, the Wizards at the end, like, go ahead, shoot, go. And I asked him about it after the game. He was like, no, his coach told him to go. So I was just reiterating, like, yeah, right, Joe. He wanted to get Payton that triple-double as well. But alas, 38 points, 12 assists, 9 rebounds. Ooh, now it's not a good game. Amazing last couple of games for Payton Pritchard. A great game from Svi Mykhailiuk. A nice recovery game from Sam Hauser, who started off shooting poorly, but did a lot of other things. Played, had 2 steals, had a block, had 5 rebounds or more than that. He did a lot of other things. He moved the ball, so it wasn't just the shooting. It's not just defined by his shooting. So I like the fact that not only did his shooting recover, he hit a couple of shots afterwards, but that he stuck with it and did other things. That was big. Neemias Queta had a nice game there, 19 points and 6 block shots. So good to see Queta doing this stuff. The net effect of these last 2 games, aside from 2 more wins where the guys all rested, the top 6 all rested, the net effect is Payton Pritchard looks good. These guys look ready. They're ready to step in and contribute should they be needed. Now, I don't know what they're going to be needed for. I don't know how the rotations are going to look necessarily in the playoffs. Kind of depends on the matchup, but we'll see. So that's the recap of these 2 games. That's all we needed to see. Oh, one other thing. Congratulations to Jordan Walsh on getting his first start. And shout out to Kristaps Porzingis, who had one of the funnier moments that I've seen where he came out of the locker room. He was in the back. He came out. Jordan Walsh, who started the game, first career start, was playing okay, and he's on the bench, and then all of a sudden Porzingis just goes and stands right in front of him, and Walsh looks at him and gives it a second. He's like, oh, all right, rookie, get on up, go sit down on the baseline. Funny to see the rank get pulled there. All in good fun, but still a little cold from Porzingis. It was kind of funny there. All right, 64 wins. Can we just get a little bit of perspective here? I know people are worried, and I see people in the comments, and there's always these one-offs. I don't think this is the prevailing thought, but there are all these people who are like, oh, I don't even know if they're going to get out of the first round. Like, yeah, they're going to get out of the first round. 64-win team, fourth most in team history. 1973, 1986, 2008 had more wins. Only 1973 didn't win a championship, and that's because John Havlicek had his shoulder ripped out of its socket. So that was that's the only loss. So all of these other teams that had this many wins, the 73 team was the best team in the NBA at that point, and they had the injury. They didn't win. 86 won. They're considered the best Celtics team of all time, one of the best NBA teams of all time, if not the best. And 2008, which we all celebrate here all the time. So there's a lot to you look at that and you say, damn, that's good company. It also puts a little bit of pressure on the team for sure, right? You're on this team, you win 64 games, you look around and you're like, gotta win it. You gotta win it because these other teams won it and you gotta win it. You gotta show that this wasn't just a regular season thing. You want to have that playoff success, but 64 wins is hard to do. They didn't lose more than 2 games in a row at all this season. That is damn near impossible to do, especially in today's era where guys tend to get hurt every once in a while. There's a lot of, the load management, stuff like that. So there's plenty of opportunity. And for a good team like Boston, there's always a chance where you just, we're going to cruise a little bit. Other teams that fans, people, critics of Boston say, well, that team's going to beat Boston and that team's going to beat Boston. These other teams had more than 2 losses in a row, had longer losing streaks. Denver just lost to the San Antonio Spurs. They blew like a 20-point lead in the fourth quarter and got a 5-second call when they had a timeout. Denver, that happens to Denver too, right? Like that, if you watch the rest of the league, you'll see the stuff that you complain about with the Celtics. You'll see other teams doing that exact same stuff, right? So the Celtics having no losing streak longer than 2 games, that's how you get to 64 wins, by whipping off a bunch of winning streaks after these losses. They're top 2 in offense and defense. They continue to show that they are powerful, potent. Their style of play, no matter who's out on the floor, the style of play is something that can get them a ton of points. And if you get the stops, then that's something that that combination obviously leads to a lot of success. So instead of being, critical of those few moments where they had, a lapse, or, a lead that fell apart or whatever, I think the bigger picture, the bigger story is 64 wins on a team. Very few people, only the most optimistic of optimists, thought this is going to be a 60-win team. I didn't think it was going to be a 60-win team. I thought the competition was going to be so tough that it was going to be more competitive. It's going to be more losses. I thought Cleveland was going to be better. I thought a lot of these teams are going to have more success against Boston, but the moves that Brad Stevens made, Porzingis, Holiday, they just created this atmosphere. It was, I think it fixed a couple of flaws. It allowed for Joe Mazzulla to do what he wanted to do more freely, and it created this atmosphere of there's so many good players on this team. There's so many damn good players on this team that you could rest 2 or 3 of your top 6 players, and the next 2 or 3 are really damn good players, all-stars, one all-NBA guy. That's a team. The depth is quite amazing. So as we wrap up the regular season, what a year. And with this week lining up, it's, a couple of days off for the Celtics. take a second and just be like, man, that's a damn good team. Now, what do the playoffs look like? The playoffs, the picture has finally been determined now that the regular season is over. Let's take a look at the potential first-round opponents and the potential path. We'll do that in just a second. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is going to get you last-minute tickets guaranteed at the lowest price, or they're going to give you 110% of the difference. So go check out Game Time, which is now an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball. So you want to get your Red Sox tickets or whatever your favorite baseball team, whatever team you're in, whatever city you're in, go check it out. And when you want to go last minute, maybe you said, hey, I feel like going to a Sox game tonight. Let's see. Open up the Game Time app. You're going to get last minute deals that save you up to 60% buying last minute tickets for sports, but also concerts, comedy, theater, all those things. It's not just sports. Flash deals with exclusive in-app deals that get selected seats ahead of the game or event to save you a little bit more money. You can also save even more with zone deals. You choose the section, Game Time chooses the seats. You toggle the all-in pricing and you see, boom, that's the price I'm going to pay when I check out. You can click on the seat view to get a panoramic view from your seat so you know exactly where you're going to sit before you buy it. And like I said, the Game Time guarantee gets you 110% of the difference if you can find that ticket for less in that section and row. It's the best way to get your last minute tickets. Get the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for your $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA, locked, LOCKED, locked on NBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Today's show is also brought to you by Monopoly Go. I've been told I'm a competitive person, and I admit it. I am a competitive person. There's nothing that I can do where there's the potential for a score being kept or two people doing something where I'm not like, I gotta win this. That's just part of me. All right, that's fine. Some people are more competitive than others, and my competitive side loves Monopoly Go. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's been downloaded over 150 million times. It's a great twist on Monopoly where you play on not one, but hundreds of Monopoly boards in crazy locations, building up amazing cities that bring you big money. And the best part is you can mess with your friends. You can charge them rent on iconic properties, just like the classic Monopoly. But you can also rob their vaults of riches for yourself. And the leaderboards show me who the biggest Monopoly tycoon is. It better be me to satisfy my competitive side. But you can team up with friends and people from around the world in time tournaments to earn huge rewards. So get in the game and join your friends. Download Monopoly Go free on the App Store or on Google Play. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On Sports today. It's 24/7. It's streaming. It's on YouTube or on the Amazon TV Fire Channels app. Amazon TV Fire Channels app. I know what it is. And forget all of the fake arguing shows on other outlets, other channels. Locked On Sports today, our experts are giving you the best analysis plus real conversations, not fake fighting. So go check it out on YouTube and on Amazon Fire TV. All right, let's get back into this playoff picture. We know now it's Philly and Miami. Miami's going to Philly. So the winner of Philly and Miami goes to play the New York Knicks. How about the New York Knicks sneaking into second place? Shout out to the New York Knicks for not trying to tank and fall into third, not trying to get the Pacers. They were like, you know what? We'll take it. We'll play hard. They went to overtime against the Bulls. They went and took that second seed. That's good for them. Good for you, New York Knicks. That makes this potential playoff path really fun for the Celtics. That would be a fun thing to do. Playing the Knicks in the conference finals, I would sign up for that. Absolutely. And especially now that there's no Randall, that could be a good matchup for the Celtics. So Philly and Miami, winner takes on the New York Knicks. The loser of Philly, Miami goes and plays the winner of Atlanta and Chicago. So the 9-10 game, for people who don't know, the 9-10 game is loser eliminated. Gone. Bye. So Chicago and Atlanta, the loser is eliminated. The winner has to go to the loser of the 7-8 game. So let's just pretend Philly, which is 7, wins. Then the loser of Atlanta, Chicago has to go to Miami. And the winner of that game plays the Boston Celtics. That is now the 8th seed. And game 1 will be Sunday. Don't know what time on Sunday, but game 1 will be on Sunday. So the Celtics potentially, we don't know yet, will play in the first round. It's possibly Philly. It's possibly Miami. It's possibly Atlanta. It's possibly Chicago. That's kind of been the outcome that I've been expecting, and so be it. Now here we are. First round against Philly, I'll take that. Embiid is still not 100%. He's hobbled. He sat out this game, the final regular season game, for knee injury management. I don't know how healthy he's going to be. The Celtics do obviously match up well against the Sixers. They've had the Sixers number. I don't think the Sixers are going to be, I don't think they're good enough to beat the Celtics as it is anyway. And if they meet in the first round, have no issue with the Celtics dropping the Sixers, first round exit, goodbye. I'm fine with that. I think the team, the Celtics, the players in the locker room, I don't know about the coaching or whatever, or the whatever, but I think the players in the locker room, I think they want to play Miami. I think they want to go out there and say, you know what? Last year was an aberration. We owe you a playoff smackdown. They want to go to Miami. They want to lay it on the Heat. Obviously, Miami would come to Boston for the first 2 games, but I think they want to come out here and sweep Miami, put a beat down on them in every game, win by 60 if they can, and just show their dominance. I think that's what Boston would like to do. Now, I have to be honest here. You can't go in there thinking that. You can't, because then you start getting too hyped up and you get away from what you're trying to do, and you kind of psych yourself out. You have to go in there with that same mentality, that same professionalism, to say the way you beat them by 50 or 60 is by taking every possession exactly the way you did during the regular season. You approach it by playing the right way, making the right pass, making the right play, taking the right shot, being aggressive, doing whatever the defense is allowing. You take it and then you see how they react. And if it means getting to the rim, you get to the rim. If it means kicking it out for 3, you kick it out for 3. But you react, and you react accordingly. You go back, you play defense. If you score, you come back, you set your defense, and you get a stop. You rebound, and you go back out, and you score again. That's how you build up big leads. So that's how they would have to do that. The only fear I have against playing when it comes to playing Miami is that the Celtics would psych themselves out a little bit and come out too crazy, too aggressive. Like a first quarter would be like 6 turnovers and, too much ISO, 2 fouls on Jaylen Brown right away. And it takes like a little while to say, okay, guys, relax, calm down. You know how to do this, but you got to be methodical. You can be methodical and ruthless at the same time. Winning a game by 50 or 60 like that, the only way to do that is by being methodical and ruthless. That's what the Celtics need to be heading into the playoffs. If they play the Atlanta Hawks, then hey, we can spin that into a storyline of Celtics taking the same path as the 08 team. Start with Atlanta, and you move on from there. Could be Cleveland in the second round. It would be an interesting kind of path for Boston, but and if they play Chicago, they play Chicago. I got no storyline for Chicago. But as far as that goes, the Cleveland, Orlando is the 4-5. So one of those teams, when Boston goes off to the second round, would be one of those 2 teams. And then it's New York or the Bucks or the Pacers or what team am I forgetting? It would be the 7th seed, right? So it would be whichever team, the 7th, is it Philly, is it Miami, whoever. So one of those 4 teams becomes the conference finalist. I feel even better about my prediction way back at the first part of the season where the Celtics don't face a game 7 in the playoffs, at the very least, the Eastern Conference. I think the Celtics should get through the Eastern Conference without a single game 7. depending on the matchup, I'd be pissed off if they get to 6. That's just bravado. Told you I have a competitive side. So I think this is working out very well for the Celtics. There are some potentially fun storylines. A Philly, Orlando, or Philly, Cleveland, New York. I mean, that it's not the sexiest second round matchup, but it would be fun. So whatever it is, that's the scenario. We'll see. We'll find out on Friday. You got to wait till Friday to figure out who the Celtics are playing. Let's get to the Mike Gorman tribute, because that was such a nice, it was such a great day, just an absolute great day here. And I want to give my shout out to Mike Gordon, as it is here, as you see on YouTube, Mike Gorman Day here at the TD Garden. I'll get into that when we come back. Today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. You go and you play daily fantasy sports at the best app for daily fantasy sports, and you go have fun. That's how Prize Picks works. You go and you pick 2 or more player stats. You can pick up to 6 players, and it's just you against the numbers. It's you against the projections. So you want to pick Jayson Tatum points whenever he plays, you can go ahead and do that more or less. And if you get it right, you win. You can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as few as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball, hockey, whatever you want on America's #1 fantasy sports app. When the playoffs begin, and you can start with the play-in rounds. So that starts on Tuesday. So you can go and have some fun there and pick more or less. It's the only way to do it. If you're not playing against me, you're not playing against one of the 3 million members that they have on Prize Picks. You're just playing against the numbers. They've got quick withdrawals, easy gameplay. They've got insurance in case somebody that you pick gets hurt. They've got ways that you can play against their the more famous participants there, because famous people play Prize Picks too, like Meek Mill or Sugar Sean, or you can go there on their community plays. So go check that out. Prize Picks, it's fun. It's super easy. And if you go sign up at prizepicks.com, you download the app today, you can use the code LOCKEDONNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. So that's the code LOCKEDONNBA, all lowercase, for a first deposit match up to $100. Go ahead and play Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA. I'm back Tuesday night for the Wednesday show. It'll be a fun look at the league, fun look at the play-in. So go check it out, me and Jake Madison. But check it out all week long, because Locked On NBA, it's a fun way to consume the NBA as a whole. All right. It's Mike Gorman Day. Sunday, officially in the city of Boston, by the way, April 14th, as declared by the mayor. It's Mike Gorman Day. Mike Gorman is an absolute legend. Mike Gorman, destined to be a broadcaster covering the Celtics, being the play-by-play guy, I should say, for the Boston Celtics. I love the story of Mike Gorman, where he was in the Navy. He was given a microphone because he was comfortable using the microphone to kind of like MC, for lack of a better term, the minutes of meetings between like a couple dozen naval officers, and some enlisted person in the broadcast industry said, "Hey, you should be in TV. You're pretty natural at this." And he comes out and he starts pursuing that. And he, basically schmoozes a security guard who was also in the military to get in with Gil Santos. And then he gets in with Salty Brine in Rhode Island. If you're a Rhode Islander, Salty Brine is a legend. Gil Santos is a legend. He was the radio play-by-play guy for the Patriots. Salty Brine, I grew up in Rhode Island. He was like Mr. Rhode Island. He was everything in Rhode Island. So Mike Gorman gets a job. Gil Santos gets him a job in New Bedford. Then he gets a job in Providence, and then a sportscaster in Providence leaves, and he gets a TV job on the weekends. And then the other sportscaster at that TV station leaves, and he's there Monday through, basically 7 days a week. I grew up watching him in Providence. I have a podcast where Jay King and I were interviewing him many, many years ago, but he told this story, and you might remember me telling the story where I watched him. I remember I've kind of had like a window seat to Mike Gorman's career, where I remember him at WPRI Channel 12 in Providence. I remember him going from there. Dave Gavitt, who is a Rhode Islander and was the athletic director at Providence College, and they created the Big East Conference. And they're like, we need a broadcaster to do our play-by-play. So they got him. And so we need a color guy. So Mike calls the Celtics. He told a story at halftime at this game. He calls the Celtics. He's like, "Hi, I'd like to talk to Tommy Heinsohn." And they're like, "He just left. Here's his home phone number." When does that happen? All of these things line up for him and Tommy to get together, and for them to do the play-by-play, and for them to just become legends, and for Mike Gorman to become a legend. 43 years in the business, top-notch human being, top-notch broadcaster. I say, from a personal level, how many times I've come into this building, have seen him, he'd stop, he'd say hi, give me a little fist bump, would ask me like, "So what do you think about tonight?" Like, I'd be like, I want to, in my head, I'm like, why do you care what I think? You're Mike Gorman. You care about me? No, I'll tell you what I think, to the point where you're going to regret asking me that question, Mike. But he kept asking me the question. And so I love the fact that he would even take time on this. Back when I was blogging on redsarmy.com, and it's just so kind. I think the thing that makes him so great is that he's like one of us, right? He's just one of us. He's a dude from Dorchester. He's like one of us. He doesn't have that, perfect voice. He doesn't have that perfect, like, honed delivery. It's just a delivery that he has honed, and it's perfect for him. And it becomes perfect because it's his, and he's just a master of the moment, a master of what the moment needs. And I'm just so excited to have had any interactions with him. So at this game, they the halftime was a nice tribute. They showed a bunch of nice tribute videos. He got like 3 standing ovations. They named the broadcast table the Mike Gorman broadcast table. So it's forever going to be like, next year when Drew Carter takes over, he's going to be calling games from the Mike Gorman broadcast table. And that I think is meaningful. That when they name the tool that you're working on, an element of your trade after you, that means a lot. That means a lot. I'm sad. I'm sad to see that he's going. I am careful not to talk about him in past tense, because I don't want this to sound like a eulogy, because he is still very much, alive. He's just retiring so he can spend time with his granddaughter, that's what makes him great. He's a family man. He's not going to keep going just because. But the best moment was when, at the end, when everything was wrapping up, he says, "If I could just say to the team, go win this thing, will you? Just go win it." It just, that phrase, the way he said it, it was so matter. Like, there was so much wrapped into the way he said that, because it's in that phrase, the way he presented it was, you guys are good enough. It's not, please go win it. Just go win it, will you? It's, you've had opportunities to do this and you haven't. So now you have your best chance. Just go win it. Because as fun as this ride has been for Mike Gorman, there's one more ride for him to take, and that's on a damn duck boat around the city with a bunch of Celtics fans celebrating a championship. He deserves it as much as any player, as much as any coach, as much as the ownership, as much as the fans. Mike Gorman deserves one more ride on the front of that duck boat with that title, with the fans screaming at him. That would be the perfect ending. And it's been a pretty perfect story for him. It's been an amazing story for him. So it has to be how this ends. It has to be. It's the only ending that makes sense to this movie. This is a feel-good story. It needs a feel-good ending. So Celtics, just go win it. And you can. And I think the playoff picture is lining up for them to go do it. I think it's right there for them. And whoever they play in the finals, I think they can win this Win it for Mike on Mike Gorman Day. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much to the people who came up to me, and a bunch of people come up to me here. I say it on every podcast. If you're at the Garden, section 19, I'm there. I'm there before the games. Come by and say hi. I love it. Thank you so much to everybody. I really appreciate you. The regular season is over, and I just have to make sure that I send my thanks out to all of you who listen, who watch, who read my stuff on Boston Sports Journal. It is such a great pleasure to create something for you every day, and that you enjoy what I create. You enjoy what I say, and that maybe sometimes you learn, maybe sometimes you disagree, maybe sometimes you laugh along with me, whatever it is. As long as I'm making your ride here as a Celtics fan a little bit better, I'm just so touched. I had a father and a son come by. They listened to it on the ride to school. Touches my heart. It touches my heart because it's bonding between family. Now, if I can be a part of that, I'm the most blessed person in the world. So thank you so much for all of that. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Now, one more request. Can you share the podcast? Can you spread the word and tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network? It's your team every day.